athletes and fans of bodybuilding, Tarek El-Guindy with the Mr. Olympia, the Bumster, Cbum, a.k.a. Chris Bumstead, the Canadian Hurricane, has announced that he's going to do an open show. And he said, Tarek, I'm not going there to play. I'm going there to win, and then I'm going to go to the Olympia and crush Samson Dauda. That's exactly what he just told me on the phone. I have my co-host here, the legendary, straight out of Dubai. He won the Ironman. He is the Mr. USA's 1993 Chris the Real Deal Cormier.
Thank you. Multiple time Ironman winner. Thank you.
Also with us, 7-time Olympian, one of the greatest figure competitors. Eight times Olympian, one of the greatest figure competitors of all times. She's one of our co-hosts on Olympia TV. She also does the Wolfpack interviews, which Chris Cormier will be the next guest. Wendy the Machine Fortino.
Thank you for that. Yes, put a little pressure on him. I like that. Yes.
Also with us, one of the greatest experts in bodybuilding. He led muscular development for many years. Once he left, that was over. Muscular development went down the drain once he left. He is the owner of the Ron Harris Show.
Ron Harris Muscle.
Ron Harris Muscle Show.
Yep.
Did I get it right, Ron?
Ron Harris.
We lost a little bit of Ron Harris, but he's going to confirm. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Bumstead has announced he's going to do an open bodybuilding show, and the show is Prague, okay? The key question is, I'll go straight to Ron Harris. Okay, Ron, let's not dodge around. Let's get down to business. Can this guy win the show? Because Martin Fitzwater said, I'm going there, and I'm going to crush his little dreams. Okay? Sean Clarita is angry, and he said he's going there. Apparently, Akeem Williams, he thought, I should have been higher at the Olympia. I'm going to smash Chris Bumstead. Okay, Rafael Brandão is going to Romania, and he said, I'm going to go there, pay a visit to Chris Bumstead. Horse MD said, I'm going to get my qualification in Prague, and I'm going to put this guy back in classic physique. People are angry after him. They want to get a piece of Chris Bumstead. Who else is doing the show?
That's, it's still almost 3 weeks away. We don't have any kind of list yet, but right there, you just named some very heavy hitters. Martin Fitzwater being the most dangerous guy to Chris Bumstead potentially winning. Martin was fourth at the Olympia, and I and a lot of people had him in third place. I had him ahead of Derek. So I do not see Chris beating him this time. But if he takes second, third, I don't think Bumstead's the type of guy that's going to be too upset if he doesn't win the show. He's really doing this as a lark, something he just doesn't want to have any regrets saying, I wish I'd done that one open show just once. He's going to be fuller than we've ever seen him. There's no weight cap that he has to worry about. I estimate he'll be something like 5 to 8 pounds more than the Olympia, same exact condition. I don't think he's any worse than third, no matter who's in the show.
Okay, Chris, you know Chris Bumstead very well. When he comes to Olympia battle, he feels very comfortable talking to you, telling you how he feels about competing in the Open. Ron Harris thinks that he won't be mad about placing possibly third or fourth. What do you think? Do you think Chris Bumstead will be happy to place out of the top one, top two?
No, I think he wants to win the show. I think, you become very accustomed to winning. And let's face it, he is a winner. So if you're a winner and you are a multi, level champion in an Olympia level stage, you're beating the best in the world for a number of years, 6 years in a row. There's no way you're comfortable replacing anything else but number one. We spoke about this before interviewing him on Primetime Muscle, that, it was in the cards that he wanted to maybe do a show like the Olympia, and then possibly, if the time was right, he had his fullness back. He had all the muscle that, he would lose, in the course of getting ready for the classic division, that he may throw his hat into an open class just for fun type of thing. But I know just for fun to a champion is also, I think I could win an open show.
Right.
Well, Wendy Fortino,
Yeah.
as an Olympian, you've been
Yeah.
talked to at the Mr. Olympia. You know how it is to win shows. What is his mindset? I mean, I know he's saying, listen, I'm going to close my career going there and having fun. But it must be hard for a guy that's used to winning, placing fourth or fifth at a show. I don't think that's how he wants to come out in the end.
I think that I can't help but wonder if there's a little bit of strategy here, because if you think about it, Samson Dauda won this show last year. It was one of the strongest pro shows on the circuit. And strategy wise, it's interesting that this is the show that Chris chooses to do. I mean, the close proximity to the Olympia is probably one reason. You're still in shape. You just fill out a little bit. He wants to see, what an in shape physique with a little bit more fullness and not having to deal with a weight cap might look like. But strategy wise, we are talking about the show that our current Mr. Olympia won last year. So I definitely think he's coming in for the win. I think that, like Chris's point, I think that is a champion's idea of doing it for fun, is going for the win. And I think there's a little bit of strategy here.
Yeah, I have to agree. And here's my thing, guys. I want to give you guys a little bit of background on Chris Bumstead that some of the viewers might not know. Chris Bumstead turned pro as a bodybuilder at the North Americans, okay? He won the heavyweight class. He did not win the overall, okay? Justin Rodriguez won the overall. And at that point, Chris had the great genetics that he has, but he was vastly outmassed by Justin Rodriguez. I'm going to try to get the pictures. Justin just made everybody on that lineup look small. When Chris started his career as a classic physique competitor, he didn't start winning right off the bat. Actually, there was a show in Florida where he was beaten by Darren Charles and Terrence Ruffin. He finished in third place. And bless you. And Chris Bumstead went on to start, compete at the Olympia, become a better bodybuilder, a better classic physique competitor, and eventually win the classic physique. Now, the issue is that one of the reasons that he went to classic was because he didn't want to go head to head with some of these massive guys, such as Justin Rodriguez. And right now, it looks like he's about to face some big guys. And as Ron Harris has mentioned, Martin Fitzwater is the fourth best bodybuilder in the world. And he's going to have to hit a front double biceps next to that guy. Ron, if you think Martin is beating him, how about Cbum versus Sean Clarita? How about Cbum versus Akeem Williams? I mean, from the side shots, Akeem Williams is going to kill everybody, including Cbum.
Yeah, let me back up and when I say he wouldn't be upset, I do believe he's going there to win. He's a champion. He's not going to, I'll just see, I just want to have fun, see how it goes. Of course he wants to win, but he's the type of guy that if he takes second or third, he'll be smiling, he'll be happy. He's going to go out and not say, damn it, now I got to do another show. Anyway, but he beats all these guys in my mind fairly easily, aside from Martin, because Akeem, when he turns around, he's got some flaws. He's got high lats. He never gets very conditioned from the back. His back always kind of has a squishy look. Bumstead's conditioning, it's unparalleled. He's always in incredible condition. No weak body parts. His arms are obviously Akeem outmasses him. He's got bigger arms, bigger legs, but it's not just about size, as we know. It's the best physique up there. Bumstead has got one of the greatest physiques of my lifetime, and I've been following this sport since the 80s. He's astonishing. He might beat Martin. My gut tells me Martin's probably going to beat him, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be one of those apples and oranges type of things.
I have a question for you guys. Do you think that he is going to change up his posing at all? Because I actually think that it would be kind of cool to see some more of the classic poses injected into the open division.
Chris,
I think he's going to be, going with his best poses. A lot of shots that he's not able to hit in the classic division, his patented lat spread, his side tricep, which I'm sure his frame is going to carry a lot of great shape. I think he's going to try to outshape people. And, you know, like I said, I would love to see that last spread in the open class and going against, you know, someone like these people. I'm the ambassador for the show this year. So November 15th and 16th, you're going to see one of the greatest shows Europe has ever had all of a sudden.
Yeah.
All of a sudden. So, you know, having, you know, a legendary bodybuilder, you know, pop in at the last moment like this, you couldn't ask for anything better out of the Prague Pro.
One thing I found out about an hour ago is within 10 minutes of the announcement of Bumstead saying he was doing the show, tickets sold out for EVLS Prague Pro.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Not only that, I'm sure the pay-per-view is going to have some astronomical numbers also.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So
the promoters are stoked.
And now, can you guys remember a classic physique competitor that has transitioned to the open? Because we have plenty of 212 guys that have transitioned to the open and have been very successful, such as Hadi Chupin, Derek Lunsford, William Bonac. But Chris, Wendy, and Ron, does anybody come to mind in terms of, and anybody who's watching here the live, a classic physique competitor that has transitioned to the open bodybuilding and how he has done in the open? That's my question. Ron, Chris, Wendy.
Brazilian
I'm still waiting for Breon.
You got to try to get Breon to the 212 first.
Yeah, no, 212 first. But yeah, I mean, I can't think of anyone. It's
right
a fairly new division, if you think about it. I mean,
that's right. Regan. Someone said Regan did all the classes.
Thank you.
Regan, you're right.
MVP for the information. That is correct. Regan Grimes was classic, and he went on to be top 10 at the Olympia. So
also Physique, right? Wasn't he
That's
Physique
right.
before?
That's right.
No, but wasn't Regan open bodybuilding first? Then he tried classic. Then he went back to open.
Yes, Ron. Yes.
Yeah.
Once he left Kuwait, he wanted to go down to classic, and then he looked like a Rottweiler amongst Doberman pinchers on that one those shows he did. But you know, then he's back in the open, and now he's trying to build his body back up.
Well, I gotta tell you something. Here's if this guy wins the show, right?
Yeah.
Chris Bumstead, there's somebody here, Dane, Brett turned pro as a classic physique. That's a really good point. I actually was judging the show. It was the Junior Nationals in Chicago. Brett Wilkin turned pro as a classic physique. Go ahead, Wendy.
She's frozen.
All right, Wendy. Okay. That's great. Look.
I also brought up Horse MD Marcelo.
He turned pro in classic physique.
Yeah, but Marcelo never competed. He didn't make weight in Brazil. Remember? There was that controversy.
He tried. That was a weight gate.
Weight gate. Yes, weight gate. I suspended him, and then I didn't suspend him.
Yes.
And he was going to compete. He wasn't going to compete.
Didn't you actually weigh him in with that one, Tarek?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you lose me?
No funny business.
We lost you. We lost you for a little bit. But if this guy wins the show, Chris Cormier, if he wins the Prague show, by the way, is Nexzilla doing the Prague show?
No, Nexzilla is going to be in Pittsburgh, May 10th and 11th, Jim Mannion show.
Guest posing or dancing?
We're there to rock and roll with the big boys.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm sure Steve Weinberger will be thrilled to see him dance one more time. But anyway, Chris, if Bumstead, as you call him, the Bumster, if he wins this show, there's no way he's not doing the Olympia.
I think he's going to win the show.
Oh.
I think he's going to win the show. Why wouldn't he win the show?
No, well, so you're saying here that he's beating Martin Fitzwater.
He beat Martin.
Okay.
Ron Harris.
He's going to look very shapely. And I just want to see that front lat spread with the full chest that he loses when he goes down to Classic. He loses all that, but I mean, when he came out to Olympia battle, Terry, he was a big son of a gun. He had a big frame. And he's going to have the best frame up there, correct?
Yeah.
Well,
maybe not the most muscle, but that frame is going to be pretty wide. He's like that Avatar style, tall and wide.
You know, the thing is, there's a video where him and Rafael Brandão, they meet at the cafeteria at the hotel, remember? And Chris has always compared himself to Rafael Brandão. He goes, you know, I see like my physique similar to Rafael. Rafael is 8th best in the world. Martin Fitzwater is 4th best in the world. And
he could have been 3rd almost.
Yeah. And when we saw them at the lobby of the hotel, Rafael was bigger than Chris.
He wasn't okay. But the illusion he's going to have, and I think what he's going for, is when you finish the competition, as he did, and then when you fill out, everybody looks the part of a bigger, harder competitor. And, you know, all the judges saw him at this competition, and he just may pull off something like that, you know.
Yeah.
I saw the side chest, and I was like thinking, wonder if he would go to open if he had the chance to do it and just throw his hat in there at the last minute. I was thinking that for a split second, and then lo and behold, that's what he did. But I think I don't know. I just think it's going to be probably the best physique he put on the stage so far. I think so.
My question is, Ron, did he look better at prejudging or at finals at the Olympia?
I mean, I wasn't there in person. To me, he looked better at the finals on the stream, but I wasn't there. I do want to address what Linda Murray just said in the post there. People saying he'll definitely do the Open Olympia next year if he wins. I disagree. And all year long, I was saying he's going to retire on stage after he wins. And people are like, no, he won't. Even Jay Cutler said I was crazy. Sure enough, he did it. I don't believe he will do that, because for him to be successful in the Mr. Olympia, like a top 5, top 6 guy, he needs more muscle. He looks awesome in a front lat spread and a side chest. He can hang with anybody. Front double bicep, rear double bicep, a couple other shots, he would look really small and outsized compared to some of these guys.
But he don't have the biggest front double bicep. We all got that.
Yeah.
Even from the classic division. But it's not to say the front double bicep is going to be your win or loss shot. The great Lee Haney, 8-time champion, he didn't have the biggest biceps. I'm sorry. He did not.
He didn't.
Not the biggest front double bicep.
We're all imagining him as he was at the Olympia potentially. I'm wondering what kind of muscle mass he can gain, because we know he's a genetic freak, and we know he's probably had to hold back to make weight. So it will be interesting to see what type of physique he can bring to the stage and how much muscle he can put on in a short period of time. Might be surprise all of us with his new size in a short period of time.
Well, Wendy, we all know muscle is 75% water.
Yeah.
So if you're doing, it's not about putting on tissue that quick, but if
you're right.
Out with the water,
right?
You know, in a 10% of sodium or so. I mean, you know, you can make yourself bigger really quick, and it's not like it needs to be that hardcore tissue.
Well, I'm going to give you guys some inside information. I know Chris Bumstead has the dream of competing at the Mr. Olympia in the open category. And at some point, he even mentioned to me, he said, hey, listen, if Derek received an invitation, I won the Classic 6 times. Maybe I should ask Dan and Jake for an invitation. Now, I'm going to call Jake Wood and Dan Solomon right after this, because if Chris Bumstead qualifies for the Mr. Olympia, we need to move to the Allegiant Stadium because we're going to need about 60,000 tickets. Yeah. The house is going to go down. There's no possible way. Las Vegas is going to close down. Chris Bumstead versus Samson Dauda. Man, and you know, Samson said Samson told me one time, if this guy ever tries to go to the Open, Tarek, I'm going to teach him a life lesson.
Well, Tarek
Samson is part Corso himself. I see that Italian dog name, Corso, the dog he has.
How do the other competitors feel about him going to the Open? Is Martin, Sean Clarita, Akeem, Rafael, Horse MD, are they happy? Are they excited he's coming? Or are they looking at him like, hold on, you think you can come in here and boss us around?
I think so. I think they're gonna have to feel their way. They better. I mean, I didn't realize that Horse MD was in it. That's gonna be because he's been preparing for a while, and he does have a lot of size, especially in those side shots. So, that's gonna be very interesting. I'm gonna have front row seat. I'm gonna be right there in Prague. I wish that I could bring you all with me.
Chris.
Randy,
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
You've been to the Mr. Olympia 8 times in figure, okay?
Yes.
And you have a community of figure competitors. If a bikini competitor wins 3, 4, 5 titles and then says, you know what, I'm going to do a figure show.
Yeah.
Would it be some type of communication? Like, does she think she can do what we do after we've been doing this for 10 years? Does she think she can boss us around all of a sudden?
Probably. Yeah. I would definitely feel like, oh shoot, I mean, there's definitely that threat for sure, but this person coming in is a champion and knows how to be a champion. So there's a threat beyond, really good competitor coming into your territory. It's like somebody who knows what it takes to really truly win. And I was actually going to ask Chris the same question. I was going to ask him back in his day when he was at his peak, if you were going to go on stage at this particular pro show and you found out that Chris Bumstead was coming in, how would that make you feel?
Well, it's kind of funny, but I'd feel like, I'm gonna take him out for sure. Just like NFL football has changed, bodybuilding has changed. When I was in there, we would bump you around. We would do things that you can't do these days, especially with Steve around. Steve on the hand. Back then, we was bringing props on stage. We was doing, I remember me and Ronnie had had elbowed and bashed King Kamali from the Ironman because the Arnold Classic, because he tried to push us out the way of the middle, and then we gave him the business right there on the spot. But just
women can't do that on stage.
I don't know, man. I like it, but anyway, now it's a lot of safety measures and everything like that you gotta have, and Steve not having it. Well, but anyway, you would feel like a rookie type of thing, a rookie hazing type of feeling for sure.
But Chris, last year, Nexzilla decided to do the Prague show coincidentally.
Yes.
And Samson Dauda said, bring it on. Bring it on. Samson said, bring it on, big boy.
Yes, and he gave that show and everyone on that stage everything they can handle, coming out of nowhere, winning the amateur division handily, and then the very next day, less than 24 hours, competing in the Open Pro.
Yeah.
Like I say, his side shots was very powerful for Nexzilla, especially the side tricep, and I gave him a few of those shots in that over everybody. They had Crizo in second, Michael Crizo, and they had Nathan DeAsher had to settle for fourth behind Nexzilla. And coming from the amateurs and taking on people, Nathan DeAsher is not a pushover. He is not someone to take lightly. He's won many competitions, many pro shows, and he is a bona fide, stud, and will retire as a legend himself. And they have Crizo, just edged him out last year, and look who turned he actually got his pro card there. Samson actually got his pro card there, won the pro show, and then won the Olympia. So he is someone I'd expect to be there, hopefully, to see this next year's champion, and then to drop in Cbum at the last minute like that. It's a total alley-oop.
Well, Ron, I want to go to you. You know these guys.
Yeah.
What is going through Martin Fitzwater's mind right now, Sean Clarita mind? They know the scrutiny on the show has increased tremendously, right?
Yeah.
They know that now there's a huge amount of consumers that are going to be looking at that show, sponsors, everybody's going to be paying attention. How does that change them? Are they going there to celebrate the fact that Cbum is now doing the Open, or are they going there to say, hey, listen, I'm happy you're here, but I'm going to crush your dreams?
Well, you could look at it two ways. You could say, this guy just stole our thunder. It was Martin's a big name, Clarita's a big name. So they could have thought, well, now he comes along and he's got 30 million Instagram followers and 5 million subscribers. He's going to get all the publicity and all the attention now. And that's not fair, because he's just a classic guy who's just doing this as a lark. But look at it the other way. Prague show was going to get a certain amount of recognition and publicity. It wasn't going to be like gangbusters, like, oh my God, we got to watch the Prague. Now everyone and their grandmother is going to get that pay-per-view. Instagram is going to be blowing up that day with pictures and videos. Because he's in that show, now they're going to have 100 times more eyes on them, acknowledging their efforts and giving them appreciation. So they should be grateful that he's doing it, because now the whole world is going to be watching them at this show in Czech Republic. Whereas before, a lot of people would be like, I don't know if I'm going to watch it or not.
What, Ron? Come on, Ron. I'm the ambassador of the show. What are you talking about?
Okay, Ron.
Be like the
You
Olympic.
forgot that. You forgot that.
Ron,
Yeah.
Guys are going to be on Prague.
Ron, that's such a good point.
This is the alley-oop.
And my friend Giles Thomas is going to be the pay-per-view
That's
commentator
right.
this year. Yeah. No, it's going to be a great show. But now there's going to be 10, 100 times more people watching.
Eagle-eyed Giles.
Go ahead, Wendy. Sorry.
I mean, you guys, within an hour, Chris's post had like 300,000 likes.
Dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm going to watch his YouTube. He made a YouTube video. I bet that's got 1 million views already.
By the end of the night, with the Olympia TV announcing it.
Well, I'm going to tell you this.
Yeah.
I see exactly what Ron Harris is saying, and it's a very interesting and valid point. If you're Sean Clarita, Akeem Williams, and Martin Fitzwater, this is no longer just a show to qualify for the Olympia. This is a show where they can show their dominance across the world. If Martin Fitzwater goes there and literally wins the show, regardless if Chris Bumstead is there, Clarita, Akeem, Rafael, or Horst, Martin Fitzwater shows up to the world as one of the contenders to win the Olympia. If Chris Bumstead is stealing his thunder right now by announcing, whoever wins this show is going to steal the thunder of Chris Bumstead. So I agree with Ron Harris. This is turning out to be a huge opportunity for the people. And I think a lot of the shows, Romania Muscle Fest is a week before Prague. So a lot of the guys that are doing Romania Muscle Fest will be doing Prague as well. And I'm surprised Chris Bumstead is not doing the Romania Muscle Fest, which traditionally, Samson Dauda was there last year. Barus Tabani was there. Horse MD. Rafael has won the show. It tends to be one of the hardest shows in the calendar year. But I think he picked Prague, and it's a good show. If I were him, I would have done both, Romania Muscle Fest and the Prague show, to really get a sense of, okay, now I'm in the open category. But I have a feeling, just like Samson Dauda, when there was this huge hype about Nextzilla doing the Prague show, right? Huge hype. And Samson Dauda said, no, bring it on. I'm going to teach this kid what to do. And since then, Nextzilla has been dancing all over the Middle East. We haven't seen him back on stage. Right, Chris?
No, but he will be there. He will be there. It's just, he's a young guy in the sport. I think he put a lot into being out there in Kuwait for like 3 months or so. It was very hot at that time. It was not very easy conditions, and he trained super hard and grinded it out there. And I think, you know, you got to pick and choose your shows that you're able to do, you know, getting your mindset in the where you can put your best on the stage. Sometimes you just, you know, blow your whole, I don't want to say load, but you can actually get to the point where
Keep it clean, Chris. Keep it clean.
I said sometimes your mindset just, you know, you get a little burnt out. And I think that might have tripped him up for trying to come back and compete, you know, shortly after. But I know next year he's going to be a force to reckon with also. But, you know, I just think it's going to be awesome for bodybuilding. I think all of Europe is going to be there. It's going to be standing room only. You better try to scalp or do whatever you got to do to try to get in that building, because it's going to be amazing. I even think some of the spillover is going to even go into the Romanian show. I think Europe is going to be active, highly active in bodybuilding. Also, and then everyone's going to be getting all the hotels bought up. Everything's going to be sold out. It's going to be crazy.
My question is to all of you guys, why didn't he pick a show in America?
I think it's just the right time. I think it's just the right time with his body and the show. I think it's just timing. I think timing of where it is and where he can focus on. I think it's more like that, a timing thing.
Tarek, he has said in the past when asked about if he would go. I'm sorry, Wendy. Go ahead.
Chris is. Oh, no. I was just going to say that he's known for his mic drop moments. And I just feel like going to the show that the current Mr. Olympia won last year might have been a mic drop moment for him. But go ahead.
No, he had said, you know, he'd been asked about going open many, many times, Chris. Oh. And several times he specifically said, if I ever do it, it would probably be just a couple, 2 or 3 or 4 weeks after the Olympia, like a post-Olympia show. And it would just be for fun. So he sort of gave us a foretelling of that in many previous interviews. This is the way he would do it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Bumstead, a.k.a. as Chris Cormier likes to call him, the Bumster.
Oh, boy.
You should have seen Chris Bumstead's face when Chris Cormier called him the Bumster. Chris was like, I better go back to Canada and forget this bodybuilding thing. I've won 6 times, and now this guy is calling me the Bumster.
No,
hey, I mean, even when he was, you know, competing before he started doing the mustache thing, I was like, man, he was just about to go back to his room and shave everything off. And myself and Jay and Mannion was standing there, and we both agreed. We were like, if you go and shave everything off, you're just gonna look like everybody else up there. Why don't you leave like a mustache or something like that? And then he did come back to that show with the mustache. Ask JM if you don't believe me.
No, I mean, yeah, we believe you. You just sound like self-centered Sean Ray right now.
I know. Don't ever put me down. Don't ever put me down.
I mean, I thought
you were put me down like that, Tarek.
You just sounded like Sean Ray, trying to get
just
credit.
Facts. I'm here just for the facts.
You know, Sean Ray would be like, "Oh, I taught Arnold Schwarzenegger how to do chest. I told you guys so." He's currently texting right now saying he told Chris Bumstead 10 years ago to do Prague.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and with that being said, I want final placings. Okay. Again, there's no coming back. Whatever you say will be recorded for future. And I'm going to start
because I'm the ambassador of the show. I can't.
No, but you're not judging, okay?
Oh, but I'm the ambassador of the
if
show.
you're scared, just let me know, and we'll get somebody who has the guts to do it. Wendy Cortino, since I know you have more guts, well, apparently he's like, I'm not making any picks. I don't want the Wendy.
Oh, there she is.
Can you hear us, Wendy?
Yes.
Yeah, battery.
I want you to tell me who are going to be the top 3 at the Prague show.
You're making me start. This is okay. I honestly think that God, Sean Clarita's gonna be there. Mike is gonna be there. Do we have Nexzilla is gonna be there?
No,
Again?
you
Not
be
gonna be there?
dancing in Cuba.
Okay, I think that Chris is gonna come in second. I think Mike is gonna be first. I think Sean Clarita is gonna be third.
Okay, so you
Martin?
have Martin Fitzwater winning the show, Chris
Yeah.
Bumstead in second, and Sean
Yeah.
Clarita in third.
Yeah.
Okay, Broderick Christopher Cormier from Palm Springs, California.
It's his real name.
I also have his number, but I won't tell you.
November 15th and 16th, be there, watch the pay-per-view. I will be the ambassador, and Prague is going to be lit on fire.
It is.
Go ahead, Ron. What's your pick?
I would want to see who else from Europe is doing the show because
Yeah, I know.
because
Yeah,
there's some
same.
amazing competitors that we probably aren't even aware of right now. But
Yeah.
if those are the four people we know about right now, Martin, Chris, Sean Clarita, and Akeem Williams, I would have Martin winning. I would have Chris second. I would have Sean in third and Akeem in fourth. But like I said,
What about Horse?
who?
Horse MD.
Oh, Horse. Okay, let's give him fifth place. Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
so basically, Chris Bumstead, I sent the invitation to Chris, and he said, Tarek, I'm with Bradley right now, but I'll be watching the live.
Oh,
Chris-
great.
Chris,
Chris,
I just
don't
wanna
hate
make
me.
sure you understand that Ron Harris and Wendy Fortino, they are non-believers. They do not think you can win the show.
If
So
you would
make
have joined
sure-
us, Chris, if you would have joined us, then my opinion would have been different. I'm kidding. I'm just
Gotta get
kidding.
more points.
send your 20 million people after them. And I gotta give credit to Chris Cormier. Chris, you're the ambassador of the show.
The ambassador of the show. All of a
Yes.
sudden, it becomes very important.
Oh
Good.
my God! Somewhere down there, Sean Ray and Bob Ciccarello are
Yeah.
poking the wall because they're so jealous of you.
Oh, that's my
Oh
good
my
partners out there in Prague. You're gonna be seeing a lot of me in Prague. I got a feeling.
So for Olympia TV, Chris Cormier, the ambassador, he's gonna be there. He's gonna be sending us exclusive images of Chris Bumstead, Martin Fitzwater, and all the stars in Prague. I'm gonna be at the Romania Muscle Fest, one of my favorite shows in the calendar year. Congratulations to the European bodybuilding. This is on fire. And once again, Ron Harris and Wendy Fortino.
Are you
do
going to have
not
Chris do it?
believe-
Wait.
they
Wait a
do
minute.
not
Chris has to
believe-
go.
The
Chris
ambassador
Bumstead.
Wendy.
Oh.
They do not believe Chris Bumstead will win the show. My name is Tarek Elgindi with the Mr. Olympia. We'll see you next time.